Editor-in-Chief Sanjay Pugalia. NCP Chief Sharad Pawar opens up on a host of issues, including the opposition's demand for a JPC, despite a Supreme Court-ordered probe and the parliamentary deadlock that led to a washout of the budget session. Let's listen in.
एक विदेशी शॉर्ट सेलर बाजार में पैसा कमाने के लिए एक रिपोर्ट लेकर के आता है और इंडियन बिजनेसमैन के ऊपर सवाल खड़ा करता है और उसको हम देश का सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा मान लेते हैं, बिना ये देखे कि हमारे फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम पे, इकोनॉमी पे, बिजनेस पे, इन्वेस्टर कॉन्फिडेंस पर उसका क्या असर पड़ता है। एक मांग रखी थी, मांग ये थी कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जांच या जेपीसी की जांच। सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जांच अब हो रही है, फिर जेपीसी का क्या तुक है?
बात ऐसी कि जो आपने कहा कोई एक विदेशी फर्म या इंडिविजुअल उन्होंने कुछ बयान दे दिया, इस बयान से देश में हंगामा हो गया। ऐसे बयान इससे पहले भी कुछ लोगों ने दिए थे, कुछ दिन हाउस में हंगामा भी हुआ था, मगर इस समय आउट ऑफ फोकस सेनेट उसको इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया गया और ये इश्यूज जो रखे गए वो रखने वाले कौन है, इसकी सोचने की आवश्यकता थी। हमने तो कभी नाम भी सुना नहीं था जिसने स्टेटमेंट दे दिया। नंबर 2, इसकी बैकग्राउंड क्या है। नंबर 3, जो कुछ इशूज रेज करते हैं और इससे देश में हंगामा होते हैं तो इसकी कीमत देश की ओवरऑल सिचुएशन, इकोनॉमिक, इसको कितनी देनी पड़ती है, ये बातें हम नज़रअंदाज नहीं कर सकते। यहाँ टारगेट किया गया ऐसे लगता है। जांच होने के लिए, करने के लिए डिमांड समझो, मगर ये डिमांड हो गई तब सुप्रीम कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस ने या सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने खुद इनिशिएटिव ले लिया। उन्होंने कमिटी अपॉइंट की, इसमें रिटायर्ड सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज, एक्सपर्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, एक्सपर्ट इकोनॉमिस्ट, ऐसे लोगों की टीम की, उनको गाइडलाइन दे दी, समय दे दिया और कहा गया कि आप इसकी जांच करो, हमारे सामने रिपोर्ट हो। दूसरी तरफ अपोजिशन की मांग थी कि पार्लियामेंट की कमेटी अपॉइंट करो। पार्लियामेंट की कमेटी अपॉइंट की, समझो, तो आज पार्लियामेंट में मेजॉरिटी किसकी है?
रूलिंग पार्टी।
रूलिंग पार्टी की। ये डिमांड किसके खिलाफ थी? रूलिंग पार्टी के खिलाफ थी। रूलिंग पार्टी के खिलाफ जो डिमांड है, इसकी जांच करने के लिए जो कमेटी अपॉइंट करेंगे, इसमें रूलिंग पार्टी की मेजॉरिटी रहेगी, तो सच्चाई कहाँ तक कैसे सामने आएगी, इस बारे में आशंका पैदा हो सकती है। इससे सुप्रीम कोर्ट, जिसमें किसी का इंटरेस्ट नहीं, वो जांच करते थे तो शायद ज़्यादा सच्चाई देश के सामने आती थी। और इसलिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जांच करने का अनाउंस करने के बाद जेपीसी इसका इन्फॉर्मेशन रहा नहीं, इसकी आवश्यकता रही नहीं।
अगर कोई अपोजिशन यूनिटी नाम की चिड़िया कहीं उड़ेगी तो उसके चीफ आर्किटेक्ट आप ही होंगे। अभी ये यूनिटी हो गई पार्लियामेंट वगैरह की, अपोजिशन यूनिटी एक सपना ही है, बात करते रहते हैं हम लोग।
ऐसे नहीं, अपोजिशन यूनिटी की आवश्यकता है, नहीं ऐसे नहीं कहूँगा, मगर इश्यूज़ के बारे में क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए। आज क्या हो रहा है कि देश के जो अपोजिशन है, इसमें अलग अलग सोच है, अलग अलग थिंकिंग है। हमारे जैसे लोग हो, हम अपोजिशन यूनिटी चाहते हैं, मगर हमारा ट्रस्ट डेवलपमेंट पर है। अपोजिशन यूनिटी में हमारे दूसरे भी कुछ साथी हैं, वो भी चाहते हैं अपोजिशन यूनिटी हो, मगर उनके मन में जो एक लेफ्टी थिंकिंग कई सालों से रहा है, इससे वो दूर जाने के लिए तैयार नहीं। opposition unity with specific phobia, specific direction, ये होगी तो कामयाब होगी। अगर फोबिया और डायरेक्शन ये नहीं होगी तो ये अपोजिशन यूनिटी देश के लिए लाभदायक नहीं होगी।
आपने सर बहुत गहराई से समझाया कि जेपीसी किस तरह के विषयों के लिए उपयुक्त है, कहाँ उपयुक्त नहीं है। फिर कांग्रेस पार्टी भी जानती है पॉलिटिक्स थोड़ा बहुत, फिर जेपीसी की जो पीछे पड़ी है उसके पीछे इरादा क्या है?
इरादा क्या था मुझे मालूम नहीं, मगर मुझे सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जज ने अपॉइंट की हुई कमेटी वही इम्पोर्टेंट थी, ये मालूम है। इसमें जेपीसी ठीक है, शायद डिस्कशन करना होगा। जेपीसी की एक बात होती है कि जेपीसी शुरू होती है तो हर दिन जेपीसी में क्या हुआ वो मीडिया में आता है, ये इशू, और कोई 2-4 महीने 4 महीने चलाने की बात किसी के मन में होगी तो वह कर सकते थे, मगर इसमें सच्चाई बाहर आने के लिए फ़ायदा नहीं होता था।
बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने।
आजकल गवर्नमेंट के खिलाफ कुछ अटैक करना हो तो अदानी अंबानी ये नाम सामने आ गया है। सवाल ये है कि जिनके ऊपर आप अटैक करते हैं उन्होंने अधिकार का गैर इस्तेमाल किया, गलत काम किया, तो डेमोक्रेसी में इनके खिलाफ बोलने का अधिकार 100% है। मगर विदाउट नोइंग फुल एनीथिंग हमला करना मैं समझ नहीं सकता। आज पेट्रोकेमिकल सेक्टर में अंबानी का कंट्रीब्यूशन है, ऐसे हम देखते हैं। आज देश को उसकी आवश्यकता है या नहीं? बिजली के क्षेत्र में अदानी के कंट्रीब्यूशन है, आज बिजली की आवश्यकता देश में है या नहीं? तो इस तरह की एक जिम्मेदारी लेकर कुछ काम करके देश की अर्थव्यवस्था जिसमें लाभ होगा, फायदा होगा, ऐसे इशूज़ पर काम करने वाले, उन्होंने गलत काम किया तो हमला करे, मगर उन्होंने ये सब खड़ा किया, इसलिए किसी को क्रिटिसाइज करना मुझे ठीक नहीं लगता।
All right, Sharad Pawar there disagreeing with the Congress on the JPC demand. You can watch that full interview at 8:30 p.m. today on NDTV.
आप मिल रहे हैं 2 एसपी से, शरद पवार साहब, संजय पुगलिया। मैंने अभी इनका इंटरव्यू किया है, जो आप देखेंगे एनडीटीवी के हमारे सारे हिंदी अंग्रेजी टीवी प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे, डिजिटल पे, और साथ ही साथ BQ प्राइम के हिंदी और अंग्रेजी वेबसाइट पे और सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे।
Well, on to other news now. Salman Khan is the latest from Bollywood to bat for some form of censorship on OTT platforms. This comes just days after INB Minister Anurag Thakur said that the ministry has been getting a number of complaints about the obscenity and abusive language on the OTT platforms.
अभी तो क्रिएटिविटी के नाम पे हम कुछ भी OTT पर नहीं परोस सकते, ये भी हमें इंश्योर करना है, क्योंकि अभी तो प्लेटफॉर्म्स बड़े होने शुरू हुए हैं, अभी तो करोड़ों लोग इससे और जुड़ने वाले हैं। So I think this is the time that industry where we have self-regulation, we should also look at these details, because India is a diverse country and OTT must also reflect the collective consciousness of the country, and our creative minds, our creative economy should benefit out of that.
I just think that there should be a censor on OTT, and all this, vulgarity, nudity, gali galoch should, stop, because अब सबके पास ये सब फ़ोन पर आ गया है। चलो 15 साल का 16 साल का बच्चा देख ले, आपको अच्छा लगेगा कि आपकी छोटी सी बेटी देखे पढ़ने के बहाने में? तो I just think that जो content should be checked on OTT, and जितना clean होगा content उतना बेहतर होगा।
All right, so the government in favor of some form of censorship for OTT platforms, and does this mean creativity will be hit? Well, to talk more about this entire issue, we're now joined by Rahul Ishwar, Hindu activist, and Secretary Dharma Sena, Ashpreet Khadial, a spokesperson and advocate with the Congress, Akash Banerjee, political satirist, and Dr. Geeta Bhatt, political analyst and someone who supports the BJP. Now, first to Rahul Ishwar, your comments, your reactions to what the minister said about how you can't have vulgarity in the name of freedom.
First of all, a huge thank you to Salman Khan. A person of his stature raising such an important point will definitely create awareness. And as the minister rightly pointed out, see, ma'am, the core submission is creativity is great, but creativity's twin sister is, responsibility. And liberty's twin sister is sensitivity. So without sensitivity and some kind of responsibility, we cannot put any kind of content online. Right now, we all know if you check some kind of even child erotica is freely available, or suggestions like that is definitely available in many OTT platforms. There are so much forms of vulgarity. I concede that erotica is different, but we have to concede that erotica and pornography, there should be some kind of a line. And we have to curtail this vulgarity, because our youngsters, impressionable minds, they are all having phones, and phone has become a place for porn. So we have to have some kind of
porn is separate, and access to that would be separate. But OTT platforms, isn't there some other way? And where does it stop then? Once one starts, judging and curtailing, that is the fear. When does it stop?
That's true. Just one line. That's true. That's a very legitimate query. That's the reason why Lakshmana Rekha has to be drawn somewhere. It can be a discussion, a tug of war between different ideas, various positions are there. But to say a nihilistic argument or an absolute relativistic argument that this should not be done is antithetical. That will only lead us to anarchy. So some form of responsibility and sensitivity should go along with creativity and liberty. It's a very reasonable proposition that as modern civil society we should think about.
All right, Ashpreet Khadial, your comments on this issue.
Right. First of all, the Honorable INB Minister Anurag Thakur Sir just said that it's OTT's responsibility that they do not propagate obscenity, vulgarity, abuses, etc. On one hand, the minister said this. On the other hand, it's been happening since years. And not just at a small level, at an expansive, extensive level. And therefore, they have contradicted themselves, exposed themselves. If you know it is their responsibility, and if you think this should be done in a certain way, then why have you allowed it to happen from so long? Number two, if they were supposed to censor it for the future, what will they do about the TV shows, series, movies that are already there on the platform? Because law.
So you're saying this is something that should have happened earlier?
It should have happened earlier. If the minister is so concerned, they should have done something about it, not just speak about it. Number two, the law can never be retrospective. What about the shows, series, movies that are already there, which propagate vulgarity, obscenity? What would you do about that if you were to remove them? There will be a liability, legal liability. If you were not to remove them, your objective doesn't get fulfilled. Number two, what would you do about the American shows? Let's say you make a law, you implement it in India. What would you do about the American shows that are, aired on Netflix? Would you be able to stop them? Or would you just not say anything to them? So these are the questions that the Bharatiya Janata Party's government should consider before, giving statements.
But what would you say to those who, again, one issue is, of course, creativity, but also, too much interference of the government in all aspects. And here now even OTT platform, maybe parents need to be more responsible. Maybe other ways to curtail these, what they show on the platforms. But too much of a nanny state happening here?
See, there is a solution to it. It's called parental control. An Amazon or a Netflix, I think all of them have it. If they do not want their children to watch it, and the children live with them, I'm sure the younger children live with their parents, their families, their guardians, so they can put a parental control without their permission, without their password. They won't be able to log in and watch the show. And if it is about the platform on social media, Facebook, Instagram, etc., YouTube, for that they will have to do something about it. But like I said, the questions that I've asked, what does the government have to say about that? Because, you have contradicted yourself, saying it and not just doing it, letting it happen for such a long time. And number two, what would you do about the shows which are already there on the platform? And what would you
All
do
right,
about
so all
the
these,
shows which are being
various aspects will be coming to. But Akash Banerjee, I'd like to hear what you have to say about this. And somebody like Salman Khan coming out and speaking about how there needs to be some kind of control, some kind of censorship on OTT platforms.
No, I really don't understand. Is Salman Khan now the cultural ambassador for creativity? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's why his movies haven't been doing so well. Perhaps that's actually the point. Who is responsible for ensuring that there is new creative juices that are flowing? Gargi, I absolutely, first and foremost, have no problems with the fact that there should be a mechanism that things shouldn't get out of control. The government should definitely be out of this mechanism only when there are legalities that are broken. And by the way, there are enough and more legalities that can be broken in terms of obscenity, in terms of pornography. We already have those. Why this is worrying?
But those don't apply as such to the OTT platforms. I mean, they have a different sort of freedom when it comes to the kind of shows and the kind of content that they put out.
So trust me, if the government wants to go after any sort of an OTT that is indulging any sort of pornographic act, there are enough provisions in the CRPC, in the legal framework. The problem arises, and that's why you have to understand the chronology here. Already, as far as movies are concerned, the government is already a super censor. We've had those changes in the censor board. We are having this discussion on the day when the government has already said that the PIB is going to decide what is fact and what is not a fact. Now you have this, where the government is saying we have to now look into this. Have a consultative mechanism, have a self-regulatory body, absolutely okay. Who is the government now coming in and trying to say that what is acceptable, what is not acceptable? So
right.
Already I can't make stuff on politics. Already there are enough and more people worried about religion and sensitivity is being damaged. Now there are cultural issues as far as, I don't know, erotica is concerned. So
all right, Dr. Geeta Bhatt, if you could, comment on this, and Akash Banerjee raising several points, while it should be some sort of self-regulatory mechanism to control perhaps what is there on OTT, and with the government coming in here, that is the fear that then where does one stop, and what is, obscene to one person may not be that obscene to another. So how does one even measure this, and how will the government get involved in this?
Well, Gargi, I think we all will agree that, OTT is basically, it's a very evolving platform, and it is only recently, during the COVID, when it gathered so much of attention and people started using it because they could not move out of their homes or go to the theaters. And suddenly everybody realized the kind of potential this platform has. And added to it, one does not need to go to the film certification board to actually produce content and air it on the OTT platform. So hence there is a huge attraction for the producers, for the entertainment industry, and also for the users, which already in India is more than 4 crores. And as per a statistical guideline, a prediction, there is by 2027 it is supposed to go up to 1 billion. So the kind of financial lucrativity which is there on this platform for entertainers, they at times are, we all agree to that, and especially parents of those parents of teenagers or young children, they are at time and again have been raising concern about the OTT platforms, where at times there is a very explicit content, not just visual content, but in terms of audio also, in terms of dialogues. The kind of content which is being aired is something, it makes it is very impressionable on young minds. And the kind of language that today teenagers are using, there are many reports which are showing that all this, what is there on social media, on digital media, is making a lot of impact. So as far as one can see, the government has taken a call by making an amendment because this was never there a part of. So,
All
you know,
right,
you
but
can't
what
expect
about what
government to go
Arshpreet
into
Khadial has
retrospect.
said that, you know, the
I'm
government
coming
has
to that.
spoken on this, but
Yes,
why
I'm
hasn't
coming
it
to that.
acted any sooner? That already, you know, they've made these comments. However, you know, no action has been taken. And how will this law even work?
You
And, you know, the
no, no.
retrospective
Gargi,
effect,
that is
will
the
it, you know,
yes.
have any impact on those shows?
No, and that's
Sure.
why I said that since it is a very evolving platform, nobody is saying retrospective, because the changes in the laws are also being brought with the time, because this is the kind of, as one is experiencing how the society is reacting. The government is also responding to the way the society, the young parents are putting up their complaints, and it is a reaction to that. But definitely the provisions were made by amending the rules, the information technology rules 2021, where for intermediaries and digital media ethics code was introduced. And at present, the mechanism is such that whatever complaint is received, it is sent to the producer. And the producer tries to resolve it at its level.
Yes,
But
that's what the minister
I
also
think
said.
the mechanism is very fair and it is reasonable. It is more self-regulatory.
Right. Arshpreet Khadial, you wanted to come in here?
Yes, another important aspect which needs to be addressed is the propagation of, politics, of certain agendas through movies and series. That should also be curtailed, which are demeaning and derogatory and defamatory. Something has to be done about those movies as well. Nothing has been said, nothing has been done by the government on and with regards to those movies. And number two, another very important issue is of the directors and actors and workers who are being roughed up, beaten on the basis of certain assumptions that they are making a certain kind of a movie without even watching it. They make assumptions, they go, basically vandalize the sets, they beat the people up who are basically workers there. I mean, this has
All
to
right, so
stop.
that's another issue you're going into. But Akash Banerjee, it seems the Congress wants, this is what the fear was, that more control. Where does one stop? And this whole, nannying of the Indian public.
Just two quick points before I lose power again. One, let's keep pornography absolutely aside. The worry that the government should have at this point of time, as far as young minds and impressionable minds being impacted, is not OTT by any stretch of the imagination. That's absolutely internet, mobile phones, pornography. That definitely needs to be checked. So let's not confuse OTT versus what is available on the internet. So that's point number one. And the government really needs to focus more than just banning a few websites that kids can anyways get around. The government really needs to connect with the youth to understand exactly what is happening and how they are viewing pornography and, of course, the impact it is having on this generation. That's point number one. Point number two, what you're doing when you're doing something like this is when you're putting this pressure. Don't talk about religion. Don't dare talk about politics. Definitely not our sort of politics. Don't insult anybody's sentiments. What you're doing is basically you're curtailing creative freedom. So I was just looking at some of the most popular episodes, web series in the world, and India is seen as a country that can actually compete on a global stage. Scam 1992 is amongst the top viewed web series in the world. I was looking at Squid Games. Government of India, no, too much violence happening here. Sopranos, oh boy, so much sex happening, can't allow. Game of Thrones, can you imagine a Game of Thrones being made in India? Okay, Money Heist, let's not get into too much violence and sex anyways. The point is, are you going to make global content? Are you going to make desi content? You want to make desi safe content? We will do some very nice praiseworthy content and keep everybody happy, but we are not going anywhere on a global stage. If you want to go on a global stage, you will have to make content that could be provocative, that could be uncomfortable, and you're already choking people who might want to put crores of rupees into a project by saying that it might be banned tomorrow. So that's the real worry.
That is the worry. Rahul Ishwar, your response to that?
Just two submissions. Global content need not mean something obscene content or bad content. We can really create good content. It is absolutely understandable that the state should not become a nanny state. But at the same point of time, some kind of checks and balances are a very reasonable demand. And just like he said earlier, there are hate mongers from both right and left. We cannot give them a free run even to create content that can disturb the communal harmony of India. So having said, we should have some kind of Lakshmana Rekhas, checks and balances. The whole nihilistic argument argument saying that nobody can do anything because freedom will be curtailed, would be a very tough argument, because liberty cannot exist without some kind of responsibility, and creativity cannot exist with some kind of sensitivity. That's the reason why India was the first nation to ban satanic verses, which demean Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's a very sensitive topic. See, we shouldn't offend our Muslim brothers because they are a sensitive point. Similarly, Hindus, Christians, and other religious groups will have their own sensitive points. So somewhere, even in OTT, even in internet space, or even in information available, there needs to be check and balances. Otherwise, it is easy to, easy to disrupt the peace, easy to disrupt the atmosphere, easy to poison the well in the larger scheme, whether it be from any sphere or any spectrum. That's the reason why the whole argument that nothing should be done is a very dangerous one. Some kind of reasonable mechanism, if courts can be involved, that's great. If civil society can be involved, that's great. Self-regulation, on a much more serious note, can be great. But something needs to be done, because we are all going to in a digital age, and we need to be more responsible with digital space, OTT, and the entire internet paradigm.
Right, Akash Banerjee, your response to that, some sort of sensible mechanism
for WhatsApp? Because, poisoning the well, I'll just submit one line. If it is about poisoning the well, let's have a regulatory mechanism for WhatsApp.
Rahul, what would you say to that? Because yes, WhatsApp and messages that are received there.
Insinuation and innuendo, whether they are from right or left, yes, there are hardliners, fringe elements, hate mongers, abusers of freedom. See, freedom shouldn't be abused. That's a limited point. Liberty should not be abused. And even legally
But the question is, who decides that freedom is being abused? Where does one stop? Yes,
Checks and balances should also, shouldn't be turned into extreme restraints. Because checks and balances, when this government has said, have always turned out to be extreme, restrictions and have been shoved down the throat of so many, industries and so many people. So therefore, there's a thin line. Please understand what that line is before you cross it. That is all we say to the government, because they preach something, practice something else. And the government, if they say they have a problem with this, they should have acted a long, long time before. They were just waiting with their arms.
Still acted a long time ago. Geeta Bhatt, final word to you.
Well, Gargi, if you look at the, the content that has been banned, Netflix has released a list of almost 10 or 12 projects which have been banned, in different countries. So, for example, in Germany, Night of the Living Dead, this was banned in Germany in 2017 because there was a demand which was put up by the German Commission for Youth Protection over there. Similarly, in Singapore, there was a movie on Christ, The Last Temptation of the Christ, which was banned in Singapore in 2019 on Netflix. Similarly, it's a long list. Different countries, New Zealand also, the Bridge.
So we've also, asked for certain episodes to be removed. Yes.
The society, where the way the society responds to a particular, content, video content that has been created, whether as a documentary, as a movie, or as a series of, it totally depends upon that. So, and also, whether it is WhatsApp is also something which has been evolving, and there have been changes which have been made based on the consultation with the government, where, earlier we could forward the message in the groups, in very large number of groups in one go. But now we can't do that. We can only do. So, you see, all these are very evolving things. So, instead of being, I think, very critical of the government, it is important that the society, in general, should look into whatever.
Well, it's something that we definitely need to discuss, because if we don't criticize, if we don't debate these issues, then there has to be some sort of pushback. So the government also realizes that it shouldn't be a nanny state, and over censorship also doesn't need to take place. But thank you all for joining us and putting out your opinions on this issue. With that, time for us to slip into a short break. More coming up on the other side.
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Our lead story tonight. Big international story. India is closely watching it. News that informs and inspires.
The News with Sonia Singh. Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. only on NDTV 24/7.
The only side we're on is yours.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
20 years since we started, this music has been with you. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track. Log on to ndtv.com/best of NDTV. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two. NDTV 24/7 20th year celebration.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
Debates are essential not just for journalism but for humanity. It ignites our mind, opens it up for counter-opinion. To hear all views, opinion of all hues. Which is why the oldest running debate show on Indian news television is not 23 years old, but young at 23.
इस इनिशिएटिव को मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं कि सच को सच के रूप में पेश करने का उन्होंने साहस दिखाया।
So let us begin the big fight.
"20 years since we started, this music has been with you, playing in your homes, at work, and in your car. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Calling all music buffs from across India to let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track for the world to hear. Log on to ndtv.com/best of NDTV to access the original track. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two to the luxurious Alila Fort, Bishangarh, Rajasthan. NDTV 24/7 20th year celebrations.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media.
Welcome back. The Union Health Minister chaired a COVID review meeting today, this after the number of daily COVID cases crossed 6,000. And at that, he held this key meeting with the state health ministers, and states have been asked to review their preparedness on April 8th and 9th. Well, let's go across to Tanushree for more on this story. And Tanushree, tell us more about what was discussed at this meeting. COVID numbers are going up, over 6,000 cases being reported. So the government also wants to be ahead of it.
Absolutely, Gargi. But first of all, one question which everybody wants answered, whether masks have been made mandatory or not. It has not been made mandatory as of now by the central government, but they have also, the Mansukh Mandavia, the health minister, has also asked that we should we should follow the five-fold strategy of test, track, treat, vaccinate, and adherence to COVID-appropriate behavior, which is to mask up whenever in a crowded places, and whenever somebody is having influenza-like symptoms, that person needs to maintain social distancing and also need to mask up. This is the main crux of the meeting which was discussed, which was taken by Mansukh Mandavia, the health minister. It was virtually joined by all the health departments of all the respective states. They gave their own data, but mask has not been made mandatory as of now in any of the states in India. States have also been asked to conduct mock drills across all health facilities on the 10th and 11th of April. This is what the state health ministers have urged to visit hospitals to review the drills. This drill basically will be about the oxygen saturation in the hospitals, and as well as how many oxygen beds are available at the moment. So that is one of the mock drills which all the states have to carry out on the 10th and 11th of April, Gargi. Another advisory which has been given by the health ministry is that all the states have been advised to stay alert and keep all preparedness for the COVID-19 management, because by the look of it, the health ministry said that we have nothing to worry about. We have enough oxygen beds, we have in oxygen saturation in all the hospitals across the country. But by the look of it, it looks like that the COVID cases are rising again. Positivity rate has almost doubled up in the last 10 days, and that's why all the states have been asked to gear up and be prepared in case of there is a viral load in the days to come. Also, all the states have been asked to maintain their genome sequencing and carry out keep a regular track of genome sequencing as well.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. So masks are not mandatory just yet at least, but yes, the focus on COVID preparedness and alert in all states. News now from Maharashtra, where the Western Zone bench of the National Green Tribunal revoked the stay on demolition of 5 studios in Mud Island while dismissing a plea filed by the studio operators disallowing them from further operations. Municipal Commissioner Iqbal Singh Chahal had last September ordered an inquiry against unauthorized studios at Mud, Marve, Bhatti and Irangal villages in Malad, and this after BJP leader Kirit Somaiya alleged that the studios were built without permission and based on fraudulent documents in violation of Maharashtra Coastal Zone Management Authority. There you can see Kirit Somaiya in those visuals as this action is taking. Following this, the BMC had demolished 6 studios in these areas after Balaji Tirupati Cinemas. One of the studio operators approached the court. A stay was imposed on 5 studios that were yet to be demolished. Somaiya, in a series of tweets, said the demolition work would begin and that the NGT had passed an order that the studios were illegal. NDTV Sunil Singh spoke with him.
2 साल से फरवरी 2021 में उद्धव ठाकरे सरकार ने गैर कानूनी पद्धति से परवानगी दी और ये परमिशन देने के बाद में जब यहाँ की जनता ने आवाज उठाया तो आदित्य ठाकरे और असलम शेख दोनों मंत्री स्वयं यहाँ पर आए और उनकी निगरानी में ये स्टूडियो बने। ऐसे 19 स्टूडियो बड़े हैं, कुल मिलाकर 100 स्टूडियो है। न्यायालय ने कहा है जितने भी गैर कानूनी स्टूडियो है उनका डिमोलिशन होगा। आईपीसी पुलिस उसके अंतर्गत शिकायत की जाएगी, एनवायरमेंट मिनिस्ट्री ने करनी पड़ेगी और अब इसमें जो थे जितने गैर कानूनी पद्धति से परमिशन दी, जिन्होंने मुंबई महापालिका ने 6 महीने के बाद में इसको परमिशन एक्सटेंशन दे नहीं सकते, लेकिन महापालिका आयुक्त इकबाल चहल एक्सटेंशन देते गए, चहल को भी जवाब देना पड़ेगा।
In other news, the Kerala Chief Minister has slammed the change in the NCERT curriculum textbooks. Pinarayi Vijayan said the decision to remove few chapters from NCERT textbooks is a denial of our history and objectionable. Historical facts cannot be refuted just by removing portions from curriculum, and that it is evident that these steps have been taken to saffronize education and textbooks, evident why Gandhi's assassination, the RSS ban were removed from textbooks, and history of the Mughal Empire removed. NCERT is whitewashing a fake history created by the Sangh Parivar. Earlier we spoke to Sneha for more.
As of now, a strong statement by the government of Kerala, particularly the Chief Minister of Kerala, Pinarayi Vijayan, who has hit out at the BJP and Sangh Parivar, alleging that it's trying to whitewash fake history and saying and claiming that making changes to historic facts do not revoke or change any facts. Just changing textbooks will not change historic facts, as it were. Now, we must remember this is not the first time that Pinarayi Vijayan has come out strongly against changes to textbooks. They have been in the past as well. In fact, around 3 times over the last 8 years, there have been attempts to either review or revise portions of curriculum in various textbooks, including NCERT textbooks, and the left has strongly responded to all of those attempts. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan making another strong statement in this time, saying that all of these changes are part of the attempts of the Sangh Parivar and the BJP government to saffronize education and textbook. These are the allegations raised by Pinarayi Vijayan.
And in other news, the IT Ministry is notifying an entity that will flag false information posted online pertaining to the government. The government has decided to notify an entity through MeitY, and that organization then would be the fact checker for all aspects of content online and only those that are related to the government. This is what the IT Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar said. He also added that the final guidelines for online gaming is still in the works, but already there has been a response to this by the media.
गवर्नमेंट से जुड़े जो फेक न्यूज़ होते हैं, इस पर एक राष्ट्रीय बहस चलती रही है पिछले कई साल से। इसको लेके भी आपने आईटी रूल्स में अमेंडमेंट्स किया है। फैक्ट चेकिंग को लेके क्या तय किया गया है, नए जो रूल्स हैं?
देखिए, हमने अक्टूबर 2022 में ये मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन और फेक न्यूज़ यानी कि पेटेंटली फॉल्स न्यूज़ के को एक तरह से चुनौती दिया है। हमने अक्टूबर 2022 के रूल्स में एक बहुत क्लैरिटी से कहा है कि प्लेटफॉर्म्स जो भारत में सर्विस या प्रोडक्ट्स देंगे, सोशल मीडिया के प्लेटफॉर्म्स, उन पर एक तरह से ड्यू डिलिजेंस का ऑब्लिगेशन बनता है कि वो अपने प्लेटफॉर्म्स में 9 तरीके के कंटेंट न कैरी करें। उसमें एक है मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन और पेटेंटली फॉल्स इन्फॉर्मेशन। ये हमने अक्टूबर 2022 में तय किया था, नोटिफाई भी किया था। आज हमने ये किया है कि उसको आगे बढ़ाने के लिए मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन और पेटेंटली फॉल्स इन्फॉर्मेशन सरकार के बारे में अगर कोई सोशल मीडिया पे डालता है, एक फैक्ट चेकिंग यूनिट हम नोटिफाई करेंगे, बहुत ही कैपेबिलिटी और प्रोफेशनल और ट्रांसपेरेंट फैक्ट चेकिंग यूनिट, जो तय करेगा कि उस गलत इन्फॉर्मेशन को गलत कहना और मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन को मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन कहना और पेटेंटली फॉल्स इन्फॉर्मेशन को पेटेंटली फॉल्स इन्फॉर्मेशन कहना, ताकि प्लेटफॉर्म्स को उसको रिमूव करने में एक तरह से सहायता मिले। तो ये हमारे लिए बहुत ही एक अनवेवरिंग कमिटमेंट है कि देश के इंटरनेट सेफ और ट्रस्टेड हो, और जो बाहर के देश, बाहर के तत्व, बाहर के वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट हमारे इंटरनेट में मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन और डिसइन्फॉर्मेशन और पेटेंटली फॉल्स इन्फॉर्मेशन डालते हैं और हमारे डेमोक्रेसी को कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ करने की कोशिश करते हैं, उसमें हम एक मुंह तोड़ जवाब दें और उसके लिए एक फैक्ट चेकिंग यूनिट नोटिफाई होगा सरकार के इंफॉर्मेशन और डेटा को फैक्ट चेक करने के लिए। जी।
Now, news from Andhra Pradesh, where former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister of United Andhra Pradesh, Kiran Kumar Reddy, joined the BJP today, becoming the second ex-Congress leader to switch sides in just 2 days. This after Anil Antony, the son of Congress veteran from Kerala, A.K. Antony. Kiran Kumar Reddy, who served as the last Chief Minister of undivided Andhra Pradesh before the formation of Telangana state in 2014, resigned from the Congress in March over differences with the party leadership. His decision to join the BJP comes ahead of the assembly elections in Andhra Pradesh next year, where the ruling YSR Congress and main opposition Telugu Desam party are locked in a bitter contest.
Unfortunately, what has happened is, state after state, due to bad decisions and wrong decisions of the Congress High Command, the party is getting damaged totally in all the states. They don't interact with the people. They don't take the opinions of the leaders. It is not a story in one state. It is a story throughout the country. Due to lack of interaction, they do not know which leader, the characters of the leaders, or who should be assigned what jobs in a state for the party to go forward.
Kiran Kumar Reddy himself, he was MLA, 4 times MLA. He was Speaker, he was Chief Whip, and you all know in a very crucial time he was Chief Minister also. And if I can tell you, Kiran Kumar Reddy is a good cricketer also. Yes. He has played up to Ranji, and he opened his innings in the Congress, and now after closing that innings in the Congress, now he is opening a new innings, and I hope he will score and he will bat very well in the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Now, if you have a pipe gas connection in your kitchen or own a CNG car, well, there's good news for you. The government has approved a new method to fix the price of natural gas. Natural gas produced from legacy oil fields known as APM gas will now be linked to crude oil price instead of gas prices in surplus nations such as the US, Canada and Russia.
In a huge relief for consumers across the country, piped natural gas or PNG and compressed natural gas or CNG are set to cost less. Now, of course, how is this happening? The government has approved a new method really to fix the price of natural gas. So what is the new method? Natural gas produced from legacy fields known as APM gas will now be linked to crude oil prices instead of being linked to the benchmark rate of gas prices in surplus nations like US, Canada and Russia. The move is set to make PNG or cooking gas cheaper by 10% and CNG or gas used for automobiles in particular cheaper by around 6 to 9%. The new guidelines have been put in place to ensure a stable pricing regime for domestic gas consumers while at the same time provide adequate protection to producers from adverse market fluctuations. So a big boost to consumers altogether. And remember, in the long run, the government aims at increasing the share of natural gas in India's primary energy mix from the current 6.5% to 15% by 2030.
And now IPL news. Kolkata Knight Riders have unearthed yet another mystery spinner. Suyash Sharma, a 19-year-old picked from the mini auction, destroyed Bangalore on Thursday night. Here's how he made a big impact.
His looks are being compared to Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra. His skill invaluable for a franchise with a knack of finding mystery spinners. Suyash Sharma is Kolkata Knight Riders' latest wonder boy.
For Suyash Sharma, yes, Kolkata Knight Riders man hasn't played any other.
He was not in the original lineup against Bangalore, but the leg spinner was brought in as an impact player.
बहुत फनी है, बड़ा अलग कैरेक्टर है, मतलब नॉर्मल लोगों की तरह नहीं है, बहुत फनी है और अपने आप को बहुत ज़्यादा बैक करता है. स्किल उसकी, मतलब जितने भी मैंने बात करी पहले से भी प्लान्स में था कि जहाँ भी हमें लगेगा थर्ड स्पिनर ऐड करना है वो 100% हम सुयश को करेंगे. और जैसा कि आज हमें लगा कि विकेट थोड़ा ड्राई है तो शायद क्यों ना चांस लिया जाए और उसने वो करके दिखाया. जो पहला मैच अपना खेल रहे हैं और ऐसा बॉल डालना, इतने बड़े बड़े प्लेयर्स को आउट करना, आई थिंक और मुझे क्या चाहिए सर.
Suyash teamed up with fellow spinner Varun Chakravarti to cap off an unforgettable debut for the Knight Riders at the Eden Gardens with 3 for 30. A new fan favourite, Suyash, who was bought for 20 lakh rupees from the mini auction, had not recorded a single appearance in any form of professional competition prior to his KKR debut. But on Thursday night, he lit up Eden Gardens as the Knights won by 81 runs against Bangalore. In New Delhi, Rika Roy for NDTV.
Sharma has got his second.
And not only did Shah Rukh Khan watch the match, well, he also shook a leg with none other than Virat Kohli and taught him a few steps from his latest movie Pathan. Virat could be seen trying to match King Khan's steps after the post-match presentation.
Icon.
पटनी बनी विराट की, पर डांस करेंगे. अरे बाप रे, शाहरुख खान ने पूछा है तो मना नहीं कर सकते विराट कोहली. पट्टी बांध के भी पैर उठा लिया, पर ये बहुत बड़ी हार है वैसे आरसीबी के लिए. और शाहरुख खान खुश है कि शाहरुख खान जब ग्राउंड पर आते हैं, अच्छी बात बोली, सबको झपकियाँ कोई भी हो प्यार से गले लगाते हैं. बड़ा एक अनुशासन वाले बंदे हैं, ज़्यादा आज.
All right, a treat for the fans and quite the commentary going on there. With that, time for us to slip into a short break. Stay with us.
Deeply polarized world where space for disagreement is shrinking, where take it or leave it defines discourse. We take a step back. A debate has many facets, perhaps no one right answer. Left, right and center, conversations that get to the core of the debate. Left, right and center with me, Vishnu Shom, 9 p.m. on NDTV 24/7.
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Our lead story tonight. Big international story. India is closely watching it. News that informs and inspires.
The news with Sonia Singh. Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. Only on NDTV 24/7.
The only side we're on is yours.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
20 years since we started, this music has been with you. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two. NDTV 24/7 20th year celebration.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360.
The NDTV Detol Banega Swasth India campaign is talking about matters of health and hygiene, where we have looked at the role of hygiene from different angles. Keeping the conversation going on for Health for All, let's talk to Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, who is the Executive Chairperson and founder of Biocon Limited, about the big gaps in making universal health coverage possible for a country as diverse as ours, and the role of Big Pharma in making health accessible. Thank you so much, Dr. Majumdar, for joining us today. You've been part of the Lancet Citizens Commission on Reimagining India's Health System. Could you explain to us what is reimagining India's health system with a view to achieving universal health coverage involve?
It is about right to healthcare, it is about access to healthcare, and above all, it is about health equity. Access and affordability are the two pillars of ensuring health equity and right to healthcare. And this is what we're trying to reimagining, saying, how will this work? How do we make sure that every Indian, no matter what their economic strata is, will have access to basic quality healthcare, starting with, of course, primary healthcare, and of course, then ensuring that if they need secondary and tertiary and quaternary healthcare, it's made available. For a country as large as India, obviously this is a monumental challenge because we have a huge population with a large part of it which is poor. So how do we make this work is really the challenge, and what we are looking at is what is it that we have, what are the big gaps, and how can technology bridge many of these gaps. So there are many pillars that we're looking at. One is, of course, the human resource requirements to deliver health equity. The second one is about the financial outlay that we need to address health equity. The third is how do we use digital technologies and technology in general to deliver health equity. And the fourth is about what is the governance model required to really ensure that everything is connected and everything works.
Dr. Majumdar, how important is our collective participation towards building a healthy India?
I have personally experienced the power of providing affordable access to life-saving and essential medicines. Let me start with my favorite example of insulin. I remember when we embarked on this journey of developing recombinant human insulin, India was at the epicenter of diabetes. It was importing all its insulin, and 90% of that imported insulin used to be animal insulin because we just couldn't afford recombinant human insulin. Only affluent paying patients could afford recombinant human insulin. And that is what drove me to develop our own indigenous recombinant human insulin, which we launched in 2004. And that was a very pivotal moment for diabetes treatment, because we were able to disrupt insulin pricing by bringing down the cost of recombinant human insulin to 1/10 of what it was being sold at. And it also forced the multinational companies who were, pricing insulins beyond the reach of most patients in India to come to this level. Today, we do not import any animal insulins. Everybody can afford recombinant human insulin thanks to our efforts. And today we have the cheapest recombinant human insulin in the world. So I think that's the power of innovation, that's the power of disruption, and that's the power of focusing on affordable, access.
Dr. Majumdar, what role can Big Pharma play in helping achieve health for all? Also, what our campaign's focus this year is Lakshya Sampurna Swastika.
I think the pharmaceutical industry in India is doing its bit in a very, very commendable manner. I think every medicine that is required by a patient in any disease segment is the most affordable medicine in the world. India is the leader when it comes to generics. We as a company are trying to lead in biosimilars globally. And I think it is these kind of medicines that are bringing down the cost of these very, very important treatments. So I don't think I can think of a better sector than India's pharmaceutical industry that is not only helping its own country and its own citizens, but it is making a huge difference to global healthcare.
Thank you so much, Dr. Majumdar, for joining us and always being a part of our campaign since the last 9 years. All day today, we on the Banega Swasth India campaign have been commemorating World Health Day. As we go, we will leave the last word with Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia. This is the message we leave you with today. April 7th, World Health Day, as we all strive towards health for all, or Lakshya Sampurna Swastika.
वर्ल्ड हेल्थ दिन के अवसर पर देश के नागरिकों का मेरी ओर से संदेश है कि हम हेल्थ को हॉलिस्टिकली देखें, हम स्वच्छता के आग्रही रहें, हम पेयजल योजना से मिल रहा शुद्ध जल ग्रहण करें, हम समय समय पर हमारा हेल्थ चेकअप कराते रहें और हमारे में कोई बीमारी पाई जाए तो तुरंत ही हम उसका इलाज करें ताकि उसका संक्रमण भी ना बढ़े और हम भी स्वस्थ रहे। स्वस्थ भारत की मैं वर्ल्ड हेल्थ दिन के अवसर पर अपेक्षा करता हूँ। हमारा भारत स्वस्थ बने, हमारा भारत समृद्ध बने और देश के सभी नागरिकों को हेल्थ एक्सेसिबल हो और हेल्थ अफोर्डेबल हो। इस प्रयास जो मोदी जी कर रहे हैं उसके साथ हम जुड़े।
Brought to you by
Debates are essential not just for journalism but for humanity. It ignites our mind, opens it up for counter opinion. To hear all views, opinion of all hues. Which is why the oldest running debate show on Indian news television is not 23 years old, but young at 23.
इस इनिशिएटिव को मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं कि सच को सच के रूप में पेश करने का उन्होंने साहस दिखाया।
So let us begin the big fight.
"20 years since we started, this music has been with you, playing in your homes, at work, and in your car. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Calling all music buffs from across India to let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track for the world to hear. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv to access the original track. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two to the luxurious Alila Fort, Bishangarh, Rajasthan. NDTV 24/7. 20th year celebrations.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
In a deeply polarized world, where space for disagreement is shrinking, where take it or leave it defines discourse, we take a step back. A debate has many facets, perhaps no one right answer. Left, right and center, conversations that get to the core of the debate. Left, right and center with me, Vishnu Shom, 9 p.m. on NDTV 24/7.
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Our lead story tonight. Big international story, India is close.
Hello there, you're watching NDTV. I'm Maha Siddiqui in an exclusive interview with NDTV 24/7's editor-in-chief Sanjay Pugalia. NCP chief Sharad Pawar opens up on a host of issues, including the opposition's demand for a JPC despite a Supreme Court-ordered probe and the parliamentary deadlock that led to a washout of the budget session. Let's listen in.
एक विदेशी शॉर्ट सेलर बाजार में पैसा कमाने के लिए एक रिपोर्ट लेकर के आता है और इंडियन बिजनेसमैन के ऊपर सवाल खड़ा करता है और उसको हम देश का सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा मान लेते हैं बिना ये देखे कि हमारे फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम पे, इकोनॉमी पे, बिजनेस पे, इन्वेस्टर कॉन्फिडेंस पर उसका क्या असर पड़ता है। एक मांग रखी थी, मांग ये थी कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जांच या जेपीसी की जांच। सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जांच अब हो रही है, फिर जेपीसी का क्या तुक है?
बात ऐसी कि जो आपने कहा कोई एक विदेशी फर्म या इंडिविजुअल उन्होंने कुछ बयान दे दिया, इस बयान से देश में हंगामा हो गया। ऐसे बयान इससे पहले भी कुछ लोगों ने दिए थे, कुछ दिन हाउस में हंगामा भी हुआ था, मगर इस समय आउट ऑफ प्रोपोर्शनेट उसको इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया गया और ये इश्यूज जो रखे गए वो रखने वाले कौन है, इसकी सोचने की आवश्यकता थी। हमने तो कभी नाम भी सुना नहीं था जिसने स्टेटमेंट दे दिया। नंबर 2, इसकी बैकग्राउंड क्या है। नंबर 3, जो कुछ इश्यूज रेज करते हैं और इससे देश में हंगामा होते हैं तो इसकी कीमत देश की ओवरऑल सिचुएशन, इकोनॉमिक, इसको कितनी देनी पड़ती है, ये बातें हम नज़रअंदाज नहीं कर सकते। यहाँ टारगेट किया गया ऐसे लगता है। जांच होने के लिए, करने के लिए डिमांड समझो, मगर ये डिमांड हो गई तब सुप्रीम कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस ने या सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने खुद इनिशिएटिव ले लिया। उन्होंने कमिटी अपॉइंट की, इसमें रिटायर्ड सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज, एक्सपर्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, एक्सपर्ट इकोनॉमिस्ट, ऐसे लोगों की टीम की, उनको गाइडलाइन दे दी, समय दे दिया और कहा गया कि आप इसकी जांच करो, हमारे सामने रिपोर्ट हो। दूसरी तरफ अपोजिशन की मांग थी कि पार्लियामेंट की कमेटी अपॉइंट करो। पार्लियामेंट की कमेटी अपॉइंट की, समझो, तो आज पार्लियामेंट में मेजॉरिटी किसकी है?
रूलिंग पार्टी।
रूलिंग पार्टी की। ये डिमांड किसके खिलाफ थी? रूलिंग पार्टी के खिलाफ थी। रूलिंग पार्टी के खिलाफ जो डिमांड है, इसकी जांच करने के लिए जो कमेटी अपॉइंट करेंगे, इसमें रूलिंग पार्टी की मेजॉरिटी रहेगी, तो सच्चाई कहाँ तक कैसे सामने आएगी, इस बारे में आशंका पैदा हो सकती है। इससे सुप्रीम कोर्ट, जिसमें किसी का इंटरेस्ट नहीं, वो जांच करते थे तो शायद ज़्यादा सच्चाई देश के सामने आती थी। और इसलिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जांच करने का अनाउंस करने के बाद जेपीसी इसका इम्पोर्टेंस रहा नहीं, इसकी आवश्यकता रही नहीं।
आपने सर बहुत गहराई से समझाया कि जेपीसी किस तरह के विषयों के लिए उपयुक्त है, कहाँ उपयुक्त नहीं है। फिर कांग्रेस पार्टी भी जानती है पॉलिटिक्स थोड़ा बहुत, फिर जेपीसी की जो पीछे पड़ी है उसके पीछे इरादा क्या है?
इरादा क्या था मुझे मालूम नहीं, मगर मुझे सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जज ने अपॉइंट की हुई कमेटी वह इम्पोर्टेंट थी, ये मालूम है। इसमें जेपीसी ठीक है, शायद डिस्कशन करना होगा। जेपीसी की एक बात होती है कि जेपीसी शुरू होती है तो हर दिन जेपीसी में क्या हुआ वो मीडिया में आता है, ये इशू, और कोई 2-4 महीने 4 महीने चलाने की बात किसी के मन में होगी तो वह कर सकते थे, मगर इसमें सच्चाई बाहर आने के लिए फायदा नहीं होता था।
बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने।
आजकल गवर्नमेंट के खिलाफ कुछ अटैक करना हो तो अदानी अंबानी ये नाम सामने आ गया है। सवाल ये है कि जिनके ऊपर आप अटैक करते हैं उन्होंने अधिकार का गैर इस्तेमाल किया, गलत काम किया, तो डेमोक्रेसी में इनके खिलाफ बोलने का अधिकार 100% है। मगर विदाउट नोइंग फुल एनीथिंग हमला करना मैं समझ नहीं सकता। आज पेट्रोकेमिकल सेक्टर में अंबानी का कंट्रीब्यूशन है, ऐसे हम देखते हैं। आज देश को उसकी आवश्यकता है या नहीं? बिजली के क्षेत्र में अदानी के कंट्रीब्यूशन है, आज बिजली की आवश्यकता देश में है या नहीं? तो इस तरह की एक जिम्मेदारी लेकर कुछ काम करके देश की अर्थव्यवस्था जिसमें लाभ होगा, फायदा होगा, ऐसे इशूज़ पर काम करने वाले, उन्होंने गलत काम किया तो हमला करे, मगर उन्होंने ये सब खड़ा किया, इसलिए किसी को क्रिटिसाइज करना मुझे ठीक नहीं लगता।
अगर कोई अपोजिशन यूनिटी नाम की चिड़िया कहीं उड़ेगी तो उसके चीफ आर्किटेक्ट आप ही होंगे। अभी ये यूनिटी हो गई पार्लियामेंट वगैरह की, अपोजिशन यूनिटी एक सपना ही है, बात करते रहते हैं हम लोग।
ऐसे नहीं, अपोजिशन यूनिटी की आवश्यकता है, नहीं ऐसे में नहीं कहूँगा, मगर इश्यूज़ के बारे में क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए। आज क्या हो रहा है कि देश के जो अपोजिशन है इसमें अलग अलग सोच है, अलग अलग थिंकिंग है। हमारे जैसे लोग हो, हम अपोजिशन यूनिटी चाहते हैं, मगर हमारा ट्रस्ट डेवलपमेंट पर है। अपोजिशन यूनिटी में हमारे दूसरे भी कुछ साथी हैं, वो भी चाहते हैं अपोजिशन यूनिटी हो, मगर उनके मन में जो एक लेफ्टी थिंकिंग कई सालों से रहा है, इससे वो दूर जाने के लिए तैयार नहीं। अपोजिशन यूनिटी विथ स्पेसिफिक प्रोग्राम, स्पेसिफिक डायरेक्शन, ये होगी तो कामयाब होगी, और प्रोग्राम और डायरेक्शन ये नहीं होगी तो ये अपोजिशन यूनिटी देश के लिए लाभदायक नहीं होगी।
सर, मसला सीधे चुनाव के मैदान में किसी कंस्टिट्यूएंसी में क्या होगा इसका है, तो उस पर मेरा प्रश्न ये है कि 1-on-1 अगर कॉन्टेस्ट नहीं होता है, एक बात, और दूसरी बात, बीजेपी का चैलेंज रीजनल पार्टियां हैं, आप लोग हैं, कांग्रेस नहीं है। अभी के हल्ले गुल्ले से कांग्रेस को ये भ्रम हो जाएगा कि वो डोमिनेंट पार्टी है और वही सबसे बड़ा रोड़ा बनेगी यूनिटी को इस्टेब्लिश करने में।
नहीं, ये बात सच है कि एक तो कांग्रेस पार्टी आज पुरानी कांग्रेस की स्थिति और आज की कांग्रेस की स्थिति में फर्क है, मगर साथ साथ कांग्रेस को नज़रअंदाज नहीं कर सकते। देश के कई राज्यों में आज भी कांग्रेस है, चाहे 4 हो, 5 हो, 6 हो, कुछ न कुछ राज्यों में। मगर ये सभी पार्टीज नॉन कांग्रेस, नॉन बीजेपी, इनमें से नॉन कांग्रेस लोगों को खाली एक करना चाहिए, ऐसी बात हमारे कुछ साथी करते हैं। मुझे लगता है इससे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है कि अपोजिशन यूनिटी काहे के लिए, क्या प्रोग्राम लेंगे, कुछ रास्ते से जाना है, इसमें क्लैरिटी हो तो रास्ता निकल सकते हैं, देश के फायदे की बात हो सकती है। अगर अभी तक हम वहाँ नहीं पहुँचे, ये बात तो हमें स्वीकार करना पड़ेगा।
विधानसभा के चुनाव हैं आने वाले दिनों में, कर्नाटक, फिर दूसरे राज्य मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़ वगैरह, तो इसके बारे में एक आपका अनुमान चाहता हूँ आपसे लेना।
मेरा असेसमेंट ये है, 2 किस्म के इलेक्शन है, एक नेशनल इलेक्शन सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के लिए, एक राज्यों का इलेक्शन। मेरा पर्सनल असेसमेंट अलग है, आप शायद स्वीकार नहीं करेंगे, मेरा पर्सनल इलेक्शन राज्य की स्थिति अलग है। हम देखेंगे देश और हर राज्य, अभी देखिए केरला नॉन बीजेपी, तमिलनाडु नॉन बीजेपी, आंध्र नॉन बीजेपी, हैदराबाद नॉन बीजेपी, अभी कर्नाटक में चुनाव है। मेरा पक्का असेसमेंट है कि वहाँ कांग्रेस आएगी, नॉन बीजेपी।
आपने सर बहुत गहराई से समझाया कि जेपीसी किस तरह के विषयों के लिए उपयुक्त है, कहाँ उपयुक्त नहीं है। फिर कांग्रेस पार्टी भी जानती है पॉलिटिक्स थोड़ा बहुत, फिर जेपीसी की जो पीछे पड़ी है उसके पीछे इरादा क्या है?
इरादा क्या था मुझे मालूम नहीं, मगर मुझे सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जज ने अपॉइंट की हुई कमेटी वही इम्पोर्टेंट थी, ये मालूम है। इसमें जेपीसी ठीक है, शायद डिस्कशन करना होगा। जेपीसी की एक बात होती है कि जेपीसी शुरू होती है तो हर दिन जेपीसी में क्या हुआ वो मीडिया में आता है, ये इशू, और कोई 2-4 महीने 4 महीने चलाने की बात किसी के मन में होगी तो वह कर सकते थे, मगर इसमें सच्चाई बाहर आने के लिए फायदा नहीं होता था।
बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने।
आजकल गवर्नमेंट के खिलाफ कुछ अटैक करना हो तो अदानी अंबानी ये नाम सामने आ गया। सवाल ये है कि जिनके ऊपर आप अटैक करते हैं उन्होंने अधिकार का गैर इस्तेमाल किया, गलत काम किया, तो डेमोक्रेसी में इनके खिलाफ बोलने का अधिकार 100% है। मगर विदाउट नोइंग फुल एनीथिंग हमला करना मैं समझ नहीं सकता। आज पेट्रोकेमिकल सेक्टर में अंबानी का कंट्रीब्यूशन है, ऐसे हम देखते हैं। आज देश को उसकी आवश्यकता है या नहीं? बिजली के क्षेत्र में अदानी के कंट्रीब्यूशन है, आज बिजली की आवश्यकता देश में है या नहीं? तो इस तरह की एक जिम्मेदारी लेकर कुछ काम करके देश की अर्थव्यवस्था जिसमें लाभ होगा, फायदा होगा, ऐसे इश्यूज पर काम करने वाले, उन्होंने गलत काम किया तो हमला करे, मगर उन्होंने ये सब खड़ा किया, इसलिए किसी को क्रिटिसाइज करना मुझे ठीक नहीं लगता।
And you can watch that full interview at 8:30 p.m. on NDTV 24/7.
आप मिल रहे हैं 2 एसपी से, शरद पवार साहब, संजय पुगलिया। मैंने अभी इनका इंटरव्यू किया है, जो आप देखेंगे एनडीटीवी के हमारे सारे हिंदी अंग्रेजी टीवी प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे, डिजिटल पे, और साथ ही साथ BQ प्राइम के हिंदी और अंग्रेजी वेबसाइट पे और सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे।
Let's move on now to the COVID situation in the country. Amidst the sharp rise in the numbers, Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia chaired a high-level meeting today with the state health ministers. Over 6,000 fresh COVID cases were reported in India in the last 24 hours, which was 13% higher than yesterday. Now, there are some important decisions that have been arrived at today in the meeting. States have been asked to review the preparedness on the 8th and the 9th of April. States have been asked to conduct mock drills in hospitals on the 10th and 11th of April. States have been asked to identify emergency hotspots, ramp up testing. The focus has to be on test, track and treat like before, and also to vaccinate the unvaccinated population, and also to ensure COVID appropriate behavior is maintained. Now, the BJP says that Bandi Sanjay was targeted for arrest as he was exposing the BRS and KCR government on their alleged inability to protect the interests of the students and youth. The municipal corporator turned MP turned state party chief has declared that he and his party would work single-mindedly to oust the KCR family.
Telangana BJP chief Bandi Sanjay walked out of Karimnagar jail on Friday morning to a hero's welcome. The high drama around his arrest and calls from central leaders, including Mr. Amit Shah and JP Nadda, has elevated his profile and enthused him to intensify his attack on the KCR family. Bandi Sanjay is accused of trying to defame the KCR government, disrupt peace, create law and order issues, leading to cancellation of 10th class exams by exploiting a WhatsApp forward he got of a 10th class Hindi exam question paper on Tuesday while the exam was still in progress. The Telugu exam paper was also similarly shared among others on WhatsApp on Monday.
चोरों को पकड़ के जेल में डालने के बाद आज कुछ पेपर लीक नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, बहुत अच्छा सीधा सीधा साफ साफ एग्जाम चल गया आज।
तेलंगाना सरकार के कोई प्रूफ्स नहीं बताने के कारण प्राइमा फेसी के अंदर जो संजय जी जो कोई भी उनके खिलाफ प्रूफ नहीं बताने के कारण वही कोर्ट उनको बेल देना पड़ा।
BJP MLA Itala Rajender, who also got a forward of the question paper and in whose native Kamlapur the paper leak happened, has also been summoned by the police. In the last 3 weeks, the BRS government has faced the heat of protests, accusing the government of failing the 30 lakh youth aspiring for jobs with the leak of the Telangana State Public Service Commission recruitment exam papers. Jobs are an emotional issue for the youth of Telangana as they have been waiting now for years for the Telangana State Public Service Commission recruitment exams. Both the BRS and the BJP have been accusing each other of having a direct role in the leak of the papers. The exchanges between KT Ramarao and Bandi Sanjay have been particularly sharp and unlikely to die down in the days to come. In Hyderabad, with camera person Nagaraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
With that, we're taking a very quick break. News and updates will continue. Stay with us.
Brought to you by Design.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
20 years since we started, this music has been with you. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track. Log on to ndtv.com/best of NDTV. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two. NDTV 24/7 20th year celebration.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
Debates are essential not just for journalism but for humanity. It ignites our mind, opens it up for counter-opinion. To hear all views, opinion of all hues. Which is why the oldest running debate show on Indian news television is not 23 years old, but young at 23.
इस इनिशिएटिव को मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं कि सच को सच के रूप में पेश करने का उन्होंने साहस दिखाया.
So let us begin the big fight.
"20 years since we started, this music has been with you, playing in your homes, at work, and in your car. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Calling all music buffs from across India to let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track for the world to hear. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv to access the original track. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two to the luxurious Alila Fort, Bishangarh, Rajasthan. NDTV 24/7. 20th year celebrations.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
In a deeply polarized world where space
Well, if you have piped gas connection in your kitchen or own a CNG car, there's good news for you. The government has approved a new method to fix the price of natural gas. Natural gas produced from legacy old fields, known as APM gas, will now be linked to crude oil prices instead of gas prices in surplus nations such as US, Canada and Russia. This will make piped natural gas, PNG, cheaper by 10%. Compressed natural gas, that's CNG, by 6 to 9%. The government is issuing a notification over this, and the decision will come into force from tomorrow.
In a huge relief for consumers across the country, piped natural gas or PNG and compressed natural gas or CNG are set to cost less. Now, of course, how is this happening? The government has approved a new method really to fix the price of natural gas. So what is the new method? Natural gas produced from legacy fields known as APM gas will now be linked to crude oil prices instead of being linked to the benchmark rate of gas prices in surplus nations like US, Canada and Russia. The move is set to make PNG or cooking gas cheaper by 10% and CNG or gas used for automobiles in particular cheaper by around 6 to 9%. The new guidelines have been put in place to ensure a stable pricing regime for domestic gas consumers, while at the same time provide adequate protection to producers from adverse market fluctuations. So a big boost to consumers altogether. And remember, in the long run, the government aims at increasing the share of natural gas in India's primary energy mix from the current 6.5% to 15% by 2030.
Well, let's move on now. Kolkata Knight Riders have unearthed yet another mystery spinner. Suyash Sharma, a 19-year-old, picked up from the mini auction destroyed Bengaluru on a Thursday night. Here's how he made a big impact.
His looks are being compared to Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra. His skill invaluable for a franchise with a knack of finding mystery spinners. Suyash Sharma is Kolkata Knight Riders' latest wonder boy.
For Suyash Sharma, yes, Kolkata Knight Riders man hasn't played any other.
He was not in the original lineup against Bangalore, but the leg spinner was brought in as an impact player.
बहुत फनी है, बड़ा अलग कैरेक्टर है, मतलब नॉर्मल लोगों की तरह नहीं है, बहुत फनी है और अपने आप को बहुत ज़्यादा बैक करता है। स्किल उसकी मतलब जितने भी मैंने बात करी पहले से भी प्लान्स में था कि जहाँ भी हमें लगेगा थर्ड स्पिनर ऐड करना है वो 100% हम सुयश को करेंगे। और जैसा कि आज हमें लगा कि विकेट थोड़ा ड्राई है तो शायद क्यों ना चांस लिया जाए, और उसने वो करके दिखाया। जो पहला मैच अपना खेल रहे हैं और ऐसा बॉल डालना, इतने बड़े बड़े प्लेयर्स को आउट करना, आई थिंक और मुझे क्या चाहिए सर।
Suyash teamed up with fellow spinner Varun Chakravarti to cap off an unforgettable debut for the Knight Riders at the Eden Gardens with 3 for 30. A new fan favourite, Suyash, who was bought for 20 lakh rupees from the mini auction, had not recorded a single appearance in any form of professional competition prior to his KKR debut. But on Thursday night, he lit up Eden Gardens as the Knights won by 81 runs against Bangalore. In New Delhi, Rika Roy for NDTV.
Well, it was a perfect homecoming for Kolkata Knight Riders. Their passionate fans had to wait for close to 4 years to watch them live at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata, and the team brought their A game to the table to thoroughly entertain them in an IPL 2023 match against Royal Challengers Bangalore on Thursday. They had a special person cheering them on from the Eden Gardens stands, and that was KKR co-owner Shah Rukh Khan cheering the team, and the fans clearly then went crazy. Latest developments now. Congress Party's President Mallikarjun Kharge, that is, has taken the lead in the alliance talks for 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Kharge has called DMK President and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister for an alliance and seat sharing in Tamil Nadu. Kharge has called Uddhav Thackeray for an alliance and seat sharing in Maharashtra. The Congress has started talks with Bihar alliance leaders like Nitish Kumar, the JDU that is, and RJD leaders for an alliance and seat sharing. The Congress is keen on forging and cementing alliances at the state level well in advance to ensure all issues are sorted out and there are no hurdles. This is the latest that is coming in as far as the alliance for the 2024 elections is concerned. Sunil Prabhu is now joining us with more details on this. Sunil, so the Congress party has set the ball rolling on its front, but many of these parties, at least some of them, not many, could also be part of what is being touted as the third front. So how is the Congress party trying to get more parties in its fold for an alliance?
Well, Mahat, to first take issues in terms of where they have been able to get and have had alliances, they want to stitch that up and cement it and ensure that those seat-sharing talks start off right in time so that there will be a synergy of ideas right ahead, well in advance of the elections. So be it in Tamil Nadu, be it in Maharashtra.
All right, we seem to have lost. Okay. All right, we seem to have lost our link there with Sunil Prabhu. We'll try and go back to him in just a bit, but Sunil getting us details on how the Congress party has set the ball rolling for an alliance ahead of 2024, trying to go back and stitch or firm up their alliances that already existed in some states. For instance, the alliance with the DMK, as well as with Uddhav Thackeray in Maharashtra, and also with the RJD in Bihar. Taking a very quick break now. News and updates will continue. Stay with us.
Brought to you by
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Our lead story tonight. Big international story India is closely watching. News that informs and inspires.
The News with Sonia Singh. Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. Only on NDTV 24/7.
The only side we're on is yours.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
20 years since we started, this music has been with you. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two. NDTV 24/7 20th year celebration.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
Debates are essential not.
What's happening in Kolkata's real estate? After all, West Bengal's capital is amongst India's top 7 cities and is closely tracked by all property and data consultants. Housing and office leasing activity are strong indicators of the economic overall well-being and progress of any city or region. Now, what are the numbers telling us about Kolkata? Let's dive into a very interesting discussion with an excellent panel. In fact, it's a dream panel today. Mr. Harshvardhan Neotia, Chairman of Ambuja Neotia Group, Mr. Saket Mohta, MD Merlin Group, and Anush Puri, Founder and Chairman of Anurag Group. Mr. Neotia, I'm going to come to you first. You've been the custodian of Kolkata's real estate for the longest period of time. What's your assessment of, let's say, the last 3 to 4 years? We've seen a dramatic turnaround in residential markets for sure. Commercial has held on at a pan-India level. Has real estate activity in Kolkata improved, has remained flat? Give us some flavor, sir.
Well, as everyone knows, real estate was having tough times in the last 5-6 years. And Calcutta was no exception to that. I think it was a general phenomena. COVID had a tremendous impact, positive impact. Initially, of course, it was a terrible shock for all of us, and we didn't know how it would be headed. But as soon as the pandemic started waning, we suddenly found that there was a tremendous boost towards housing demand, particularly people wanting to move into bigger apartments, those who were fighting shy of having a home, maybe living in rental accommodation, wanted to at least have one home that they could call their own for situations that would lock them in, like the pandemic. So whatever be the reasons, there was definitely a huge comeback to the real estate sector, and that's what happened in Calcutta. The other thing that happened was the various regulatory measures taken by the government, whether it is RERA, the implementation of the GST, the demonetization, even the problems that the NBFC banks faced, etc., all led to real estate becoming a much more, I would say, corporatized activity than it was before. Okay. And therefore, there was a kind of consolidation, not exactly a consolidation, but I would say a kind of clearing out of a lot of smaller players who found it difficult to manage the onerous expectations of customers and the various regulatory requirements. So I think the second thing that happened probably across India is that we were fewer players now having a larger share of the market. So this phenomena has been there, I think, across India and so in Calcutta.
Okay. Saket, what's your view? Has it been an exciting city to do real estate business in, especially in the last 3 years?
I would tend to very much agree with Mr. Neotia when he says that there have been a lot of disruptions since 2016, right from demonetization to a GST implementation to a RERA implementation. We have gone through a lot of ups and downs in this sector, I would say, as a developer community, and we have come out of it really strong and very consolidated. So would love to appreciate Mr. Neotia's points over there. Now, going forward, from 2019 to 2023 onwards, I would like to map the journey in a very short manner. In 2019, the market was really in doldrums and it was really down when it comes to real estate, residential sector is concerned. And then the lockdowns in 2020 COVID pandemic hit. And as Sir pointed out that, people realize the value of a house, living in smaller spaces, cramped up spaces, people living in rental accommodations, they were facing problems from their landlords. They were craving for their home of their own.
So, Saket, are you
Thirdly,
saying that vis-a-vis 2019, because, we did actually go into a trough in the real estate cycle, even in 2019, are things much better today? And how much better? Give me a sense.
I would say post-lockdown in 2021, mid, the market really took off because interest rates, which are a big factor, they were at an all-time low, say around 7%. The home loan rates were at 7%. But as we saw in 2022, when there were multiple Fed hikes because of inflation in the US and the Europe and the Western countries, that inflation kind of spiraled down to India as well. And there was a massive inflation in India, as we all know, in 2022. And there were massive rate hikes. And now, as we see today, also there have been rate hikes. So because of these constant rate hikes, the loan of the middle class buyer, who is the main buyer of our Indian real estate market, is a middle class buyer. Now he is being suffering because of these home loan rate increases. So demand has taken a setback because of these home loan rate hikes. Moreover, the construction cost in our sector has really gone out of control in the recent years because of inflation, and secondly because of the supply chain crisis which was caused by COVID and the war. Secondly, Ukraine-Russian war has also
Saket, what I'm hearing from you is that just when things had started looking a little bit up and stronger, you've got hit by higher interest rates, supply chain issues, and therefore rising commodity prices. Okay, let me move on to our guest, Anuj, whose team has given us very, very interesting data. Now, Anuj, whichever way I'm looking at the residential data, somehow I was hoping that, in the last 8-10 years that I've been doing real estate, that Kolkata's share of the residential market, we'll come to commercial later, residential market will go up. But unfortunately, it still languishes at the bottom of 7 cities. I mean, why are the numbers of both supply and demand not going up as dramatically as they have in, let's say, a market like MMR or NCR or Bengaluru?
So first of all, Manisha, Calcutta is one of my favorite cities. I have a lot of friends in there. I love that city. Whenever I land there, I find it very relaxed. It also has developers which are a lot more well-governed, financially disciplined. They take care of their customers. In the last 25 years that I've been visiting that city, I can tell you is that the default on delivery to the home buyers is perhaps the least when you compare it with the other cities. So I love it. Given the maturity of the developers and given that they are very, very client-focused, customer-centric. As far as the real estate share is concerned, it is true is that 10 years ago as well, Manisha, they were much more smaller than some of the largest cities. And today, it continues to remain the same. I do feel is a lot of it is, Manisha, where cities like Hyderabad, or Bangalore or Pune have benefited is through the IT workforce which has come into that city. And this is a change in the demographic that gets made with the IT occupiers, IT large companies coming in and employing people which are younger and hence wanting to either rent it out or buy residential. That phenomena we haven't really seen in Calcutta, as a result of which the takeoff or the absorption or the sale of the residential units that we see in other 7 metro cities is not, the same in Calcutta. Having said that, Manisha, the first quarter of this calendar year, that's Jan, Feb, March, has been pretty decent for Calcutta. If you were to compare to the last full year, 2022 calendar year, then the first quarter of this calendar year, we have done nearly 36% of the full last year's sale. So we are hoping that 2023 as a calendar year will be, perhaps a lot better than what we have seen
Okay, was
in the
it a
last
stamp
4 or 5
duty
years.
effect, Anuj? Sorry to interrupt you there, but you also had a stamp duty concession till March 23rd. So are you confident that the year will end well and much far better?
So Manisha, the stamp duty has been there, but it has been a rebate below a certain threshold.
Right. So
And
not for the larger market.
Not
it's
for
just
the larger
for
ones.
affordable homes.
So whilst it will go away, our thought is that given the way the economy is starting to progress in that city and the new infrastructure projects that are coming up, perhaps the demand for residential units in the calendar year 2023 will be higher than what we have seen in the last few years.
Okay, fair enough. I'm looking at, again, data provided by Anirog. Prices as well have improved, and that's a very positive momentum. They have gone up by 5 to 7 to 9%, depending on which micro market you look at amongst the top 3-4 micro markets of Kolkata. I'm going to come back to you, Mr. Neotia, and just ask you one big question. Now, it is a chicken and an egg situation. You have IT leasing only when you can attract young talent, and that young talent then needs housing. And then there are developers like you who will basically launch great projects if there is demand. What has been the biggest gap? Why has Kolkata not been able to bring in that big number on office leasing and attract some really big, global clients? Because I'm looking at the deals as well. The deal sizes are also, whatever has happened, whichever IT company is coming, is taking 9 out of 10 deals are less than 50,000 square feet office leasing. Is there a sense in terms of policy, what is Kolkata missing out? Why can't it be another Pune or let's say Hyderabad?
So that's a good question, but I don't have an adequately good answer, for the simple reason that logic defies this. 20% of the workforce in the IT sector happen to be people domiciled from Bengal. So obviously we are providing a lot of manpower from Kolkata and Bengal, and they are going to other cities and working there. Probably it is the ecosystem that got developed in Bangalore and Hyderabad and Pune that has created this initial advantage. And maybe also the perception that Calcutta is not exactly that friendly, which is not the truth at all, but it's somehow the perception. And so there could be a combination of factors, but I see a silver lining of late. I was talking to somebody in the IT world, and they were looking for 1 lakh square feet of A-grade office in Calcutta in one building. And they said, we couldn't find. And we checked around and we found that the occupancies have really shot up and there's hardly any vacancy. You'll find pockets of small offices, but A-grade 1 lakh square feet in one building is not easy to get today. Now, this has been something that has happened in the last 1.5 years. And I was just trying to figure out what happened in 1.5 years. So this suddenly this thing that happened about work from home, a lot of companies who had people or young kids from Kolkata who came back during the lockdown period to stay in their homes, they opted now to work from here. And since this is all technology driven, companies have started opening their offices in Calcutta. Companies that were hitherto not here have now started opening because it gives them the flexibility of retaining talent closer to their home and perhaps at a lower cost. Now, Calcutta has been known for providing the lowest cost manpower in the IT space.
Agreed.
With the lowest level of attrition, which is a very good thing for these companies. So I definitely see going forward a very positive possibility that we will have this IT sort of growth, which somehow we missed in the initial years, come back to us strongly.
Okay. Saket, are you that confident? I mean, I do see a lot of names like Mindtree, etc., who are taking spaces. But, if you look at the office leasing numbers, Bangalore is at 17.2. I won't even go to Bangalore because, that's an outlier. It caught the IT story very quickly. But Hyderabad is at 7.2. Pune is at 5.6. Million square feet absorption, and there when you come down to Kolkata is 1.2 million square feet of absorption in 2022. There has to be, something's got to give to change that, isn't it?
Yes, I think we as a community of developers, we have to take the initiative and kind of paint the image of Bengal as an investment-friendly and pro-investment destination, along with the help of the government and the bureaucrats. The government has really applauded us recently on one of our launches. We are launching the World Trade Center in Sector 5. We have received a lot of appreciation from the government and the bureaucrats, and a lot of interests of IT companies and corporate companies looking in to rent space in our project. So we see a silver lining. And also, I would like to add a few more numbers to what you just said. Deloitte has recently picked up 2.5 lakh square foot of space in Calcutta. ENY has picked up 1.5 lakh square foot of space in Calcutta. Mindtree, as you said, has picked up 1 lakh square foot. So there is activity and there is a silver lining. And we just need to take this momentum forward. And we don't need to compare ourselves to other cities, but we should run our own race and see how we can achieve that year-on-year growth as a city when it comes to commercial market.
Anuj, would you agree that there are so many people who say they love Kolkata, including me, because I've studied there, done my schooling there, but it's a perception which is probably not changing fast enough. I mean, recent headlines have all been around the violence around Ram Navami, but the bigger things are getting missed out in terms of the infrastructure growth and other developments.
So, Manisha, definitely it was the perception. And I do see is that in the last, I would say 3-4 years, the perception has started to change. And I endorse what Harsh said. When he was talking about the office leasing market, there are two trends that we are starting to see in Calcutta. One, first time, small occupiers who are very large in other cities entering Calcutta. So, they're starting with 50,000 square feet, and that's how they started in Bangalore or Hyderabad as well. So, which is great news that these are very large corporations on the services side entering Calcutta, and they're dipping their toe in water and trying to see is how this is. If they have a great experience over the next 12-18 months, they will start to expand. The second is, Manisha, we're starting to see a lot of the flexible office guys. And, usually they are the ones who go first. These are all the co-working guys who are going in and taking up spaces because their clients are pushing them to say is, why don't you take up a space in Calcutta and we will come on the back of your space and just understand that market and experience that market. Again, we've seen in the past that the flex office guys go first. And if the occupier who's occupied that flex office or the co-working has a great experience, they take up large office spaces. And the third is, after a long time, Manisha, we've seen the 1 million square feet benchmark of absorption being broken in 2022. As you rightly said, is 1.2 million. In the last few years, we've seen that at 600, 700,000 square feet of absorption. So the first time we've seen is that 1 million square feet has been broken. And I do feel is that as we progress, and as the infrastructure comes in, and Manisha, you're so right, as you go in the evening in Calcutta from the airport to downtown, it's so beautiful. The lights, the new flyovers that have got constructed, and the new IT parks that are emerging. So I do feel is that this is now going to be the decade where we will see more office absorption in Calcutta.
All right, we'll take a quick break. On that positive note, I also want to understand what are some of the new infrastructure initiatives which the government is taking, which could also help in this city accelerating its big leasing activity, and then, of course, following it with the right kind of housing. Stay with us.
20 years since we started, this music has been with you, playing in your homes, at work, and in your car. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Calling all music buffs from across India to let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track for the world to hear. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv to access the original track. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense-paid holiday for two to the luxurious Alila Fort, Bishangarh, Rajasthan. NDTV 24/7. 20th year celebrations.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
In a deeply polarized world, where space for disagreement is shrinking, where take it or leave it defines discourse, we take a step back. A debate has many facets, perhaps no one right answer. Left, right and center, conversations that get to the core of the debate. Left, right and center with me, Vishnu Shobh, 9 p.m. on NDTV 24/7.
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Our lead story tonight. Big international story India is closely watching. News that informs and inspires.
The news with Sonia Singh. Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. only on NDTV 24/7.
The only side we're on is yours.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
20 years since we started, this music has been with you. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track. Log on to ndtv.com/best of NDTV. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two. NDTV 24/7 20th year celebration.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360.
The spotlight is on Kolkata's real estate market, and the question we are debating with a well-regarded panelist: can Kolkata do better? Why should it rank at the bottom of India's top 7 cities when it comes to residential or office real estate activity? What policies and infrastructure can potentially change the fortunes of Kolkata? After all, it's a city much loved and deserves to grow and flourish as India leaps forward to the goalpost of becoming the world's 3rd largest economy by 2030. Mr. Neotia, I'm coming to you straight away with much hope. What's going on in terms of infrastructure which gives you hope that, this activity will accelerate? And, if you look at New Town, I was part of a smart city jury, and I found that New Town, Kolkata is doing a lot of work. So give me some flavor in terms of policies and infrastructure which will support this optimism.
So New Town is something very visible and living. So anyone who comes here can see that this has been a beautifully developed infrastructure, and therefore definitely a showcase of what Bengal can achieve. But I think the big change that is going to happen is the metro. We have 180 kilometers of metro under construction, of which I think about 40 odd kilometers is presently operational. So 140 kilometers of metro will be operational mostly within the next 2 to 2.5 years. Now, this is going to be a complete game changer for the city. It will open up many of the far-flung areas. It will bring almost 25% of the traffic off the road up onto the more eco-friendly metro. It's going to transform the way the city looks and feels. And not only that, it's going to be very, very convenient for people to come to, for instance, New Town or Salt Lake, where bulk of the offices are, from wherever they live. They will be able to, what is a typical commute now of say 1 hour and 30 minutes would be down to 35 minutes. And that is going to really make their lives so much better. and also the traffic so much easier. So I think that's one very big important change. Since you have paucity of time, I'm limiting it to that one major.
All right. So you're saying that the metro will probably add to this accelerated growth that everyone's hoping for. Saket, quick point, any other infrastructure that you think is worth talking about that you're betting on?
I would like to mention the road infrastructure also is really picking up in Calcutta. There are flyovers being constructed in every corner of the city and Greater Kolkata. By Greater Kolkata, I mean Salt Lake, Newtown, Sector 5 area as well. A lot of drainage work is happening in full speed. So yeah, the basic infrastructure is getting even better in Calcutta. And moreover, when you draw parallel from the other cities, which you just mentioned, like Pune, Chennai, Bangalore, etc., there is a scarcity of water over there. There is no water crisis in Calcutta, thankfully, and Calcutta is a water surplus state. Moreover, power surplus state. So these basic things which a human requires to function, these are very much there in Calcutta. And yeah, so I would like to kind of end my 2 cents saying this. Thank you.
Okay. Anuj, I mean, the sense that one gets when you land in Kolkata now is that, I don't know, post-COVID, I have not been there, that the youngsters, very talented, all love to get back to their city, but a lot of them do migrate out. Do you think that this, the time has come that, you know, now they could look at Kolkata as their base? What would it be first? It's a chicken and an egg situation. Do good companies come first or the talent returns back?
So, Manisha, you're absolutely right. Is a lot of the Calcuttans, moved out of the city. And during this COVID period, they came back. And once they have come back, we're finding is that they are loving the city. They're enjoying it. Their families are enjoying it. The quality of life is far superior when you compare it with some of the other cities. Now, this talent is going back to the company and saying is, guys, I'm not going to be able to come back to the city where you're operating. Can you actually open the office in Calcutta? And that's where we are seeing is, these 40, 50,000 square feet, first time companies coming in and opening the office in Calcutta, because the talent who experienced coming back home during the COVID has really enjoyed this and saying is that I do want to stay here. I do want to work here. Give me a space in a flexible office, co-working, or set up your own office and we will grow from here.
Okay. All right. On that note, I'm going to conclude Mr. Neotia, Saket and Anuj, thank you, gentlemen. We've done a discussion at an easy pace to match Kolkata's pace, nothing hurried. And let's be all very, very cultured through the discussion. Thanks to everyone for watching this show and joining us. It will be actually a pity for Kolkata to not seize the growth opportunity of the country and grow as fast, if not faster. And we hope that all stakeholders, including the government, does put their head together to bring back the mojo to the city of joy.
Debates are essential not just for journalism but for humanity. It ignites our mind, opens it up for counter-opinion. To hear all views, opinion of all hues. Which is why the oldest running debate show on Indian news television is not 23 years old, but young at 23.
इस इनिशिएटिव को मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं कि सच को सच के रूप में पेश करने का उन्होंने साहस दिखाया।
So let us begin the big fight.
"20 years since we started, this music has been with you, playing in your homes, at work, and in your car. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Calling all music buffs from across India to let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track for the world to hear. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv to access the original track. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense-paid holiday for two to the luxurious Alila Fort, Bishangarh, Rajasthan. NDTV 24/7. 20th year celebrations.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
In a deeply polarized world, where space for disagreement is shrinking, where take it or leave it defines discourse, we take a step back. A debate has many facets, perhaps no one right answer. Left, right and center, conversations that get to the core of the debate. Left, right and center with me, Vishnu Shom, 9 p.m. on NDTV 24/7.
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Our lead story tonight. Big international story India is closely watching. News that informs and inspires.
The news with Sonia Singh. Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. only on NDTV 24/7.
The only side we're on is yours.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the news. I'm Gargi Rawat. Up ahead, an exclusive interview with Sharad Pawar as well as the Congress's reaction to that interview. Also, the Health Minister held a high-level meeting on the COVID situation. We'll get you all those details. Let's take a look at the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Concerns raised over the draconian nature of the centre's proposed fact-checking unit to tackle misinformation relating to the government. The Minister of State for IT, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, dismisses it in an interview to NDTV, says will be done with safeguards. In an exclusive interview to NDTV, Sharad Pawar's starkly different stand on the Adani issue, says the Hindenburg report seems targeted and dismisses the opposition's JPC demand. Congress Party President Mallikarjun Kharge takes the lead in alliance talks for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, dials allies like the DMK, RJD, JDU and Thakre's Shiv Sena. Amid a spike in COVID cases, the Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia held a high-level meeting. No mask just yet, but mock drills in states next week. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan strongly condemns the dropping of certain chapters and portions from the NCERT textbooks and alleges that complete saffronization of academic books was the objective behind these moves. And while KKR may have defeated RCB in a double delight for fans, KKR owner Shah Rukh Khan taught Virat Kohli a few steps from his latest movie, Pathaan.
पट्टी बांध के भी पैर उठा लिया पर ये बहुत बड़ी हार है वैसे आरसीबी के लिए और शाहरुख खान खुश है कि शाहरुख
The IT Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar has dismissed concerns that have been raised over the draconian nature of a new fact-checking unit to tackle misinformation related to the government. He said it would be done in a credible way, but there are fears this will be used to censor the news. Here's a report.
In a controversial move, the government has from today given itself the right to decide what is fake or false or misinformation in any news or content about the government. It is setting up a fact-check unit with no outsiders because it says it's government information.
After releasing the IT rules, the Electronics and IT Ministry is now preparing to notify a fact-checking unit which will be a government body, and it will function as a watchdog to check the veracity and authenticity of all information related with Government of India on the internet.
However, the IT Ministry says there will be transparency, but the move is to protect what they call attempted foreign attacks on Indian democracy.
एक
अनवेवरिंग कमिटमेंट है कि देश की इंटरनेट सेफ और ट्रस्टेड हो